to be superseded by Yuki Tsunoda a few seconds later. Bortoletto's first time in China, he was telling me, let alone first time in Shanghai. And here's Max Verstappen to put a bit of distance between himself and Yuki Tsunoda, 9/10 of a second of a gap.
Yeah, it gave him a little twist under the initial braking, and it put him slightly wide on the apex, but he did a nice run around the outside and goes marginally faster than Max Verstappen.
For the man who has 6 Grand Prix poles here in Shanghai, and that is Kimi Antonelli putting his Mercedes onto the gravel and losing a little bit of time. Third fastest, still plenty of time to make up for that, ahead of Isaac Hadjar and behind Verstappen, Hamilton, and now Charles Leclerc, who goes second fastest, with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri both on track currently. Liam Lawson goes 5th fastest. Half a second off the pace, only 4/10 off the pace of Max Verstappen. That'll be a very good confidence run for him.
Nasty exit out of the hairpin for Lando Norris, climbing the curve. Let's see if it's cost him or not. Goes over the line, only P3. Indeed, then Norris lost a couple of tenths in that final sector.
And Piastri half a second quicker.
32.7 puts him 4/10 behind Max Verstappen. That'll give him a bit of confidence for his first run.
Now that's... Oof,
Russell was on the way, turn 14.
Understood.
And I have to say, it did rather look like George Russell was in the way.
Through the gears, slightly blind on the way into the final corner, over a little crest, tightens through the exit, neat and tidy. Is this enough for Carlos Sainz?
Could be. It's enough to take him 9th for the time being, but they're all queuing up behind him, including Isaac Hadjar, who goes 5th fastest, and that will certainly be enough for him. Kimi Antonelli went 3rd fastest while we were watching Carlos Sainz. We're on board now with Lance Stroll as he crosses the line, goes 9th fastest, and Sainz now down to 11th, and it's looking a little bit tricky for him. Tsunoda goes 9th fastest. Liam Lawson has had a lap deleted for track limits. That might not cost him because it could have been an outlap. We're on board now with Ollie Bearman, who within a 10th of a second is there in touch at the moment with his teammate Esteban Ocon. Max Verstappen goes 4th fastest as he crosses the line. Bearman gets out of SQ1. Now, Nico Hülkenberg, who had a really impressive qualifying in Australia and is very much a man for a performance lap in Formula One, will be next to cross the line. George Russell goes across it now, 6th fastest for him. Hülkenberg gets no joy whatsoever, stays in the bottom 5, as does Esteban Ocon, and that's massive disappointment for him. But for Ollie Bearman, that is exactly what he would have wanted after the disappointments of Australia. For Liam Lawson, that is plumb last.
Hamilton ahead of Norris and Leclerc.
Let's just have a little look here. Liam Lawson at track limits. Oh, that's where I think he went off the track, and he aborted his lap. I don't even think he crossed the line to take that checkered flag, and we can see off board he's clearly gone all 4 wheels over the white line. Jack Doohan also had a lap time deleted. We're not actually getting what the time was that got deleted, just when it actually happened. That was Esteban Ocon making his way to the line, sliding his way.
Including Alan working for them, of course. He's an Audi man, isn't he, from his Le Mans? Very, very successful Le Mans days with Audi.
That's what it looked like on board with Gabriel Bortoletto. It looks stylish, but it's not the quickest work. Lando Norris on a flying lap, making his way towards the end of his lap, and ahead of him Max Verstappen with a 1:31.5, going 4/10 faster than he managed in the first part of qualifying, and Norris crosses the line with a 1:31.17.
The drivers and cars are super fast. Of course, we do have a lovely smooth surface as well for them to work on.
Oh dear. Not very grippy for Charles Leclerc, though.
Hacksawing away on the steering wheel there, wasn't he? It seems as if you can get the tyres in the sweet spot, off you go. If you can't, you're all at sea, and you'll be seasick from that one.
Is he going to make his way out of the bottom 5?
Oh.
Yeah, you bet you he is. 4th fastest, 6/10 off, but that should be good enough for for Yuki Tsunoda as Hamilton goes quickest in the middle sector. Stroll now goes 4th fastest with a super lap in the Aston Martin. His teammate Fernando Alonso is setting personal best as Hamilton goes 3rd fastest. That's good enough for him. Alonso after Leclerc. Leclerc first goes only 5th fastest, and Lewis Hamilton starting to really get the bit between his teeth over his teammate here. Isaac Hadjar's boxed as Alonso goes 8th fastest, so Hadjar is definitely out. Ollie Bearman goes into the top 10 as Carlos Sainz stays in the bottom 5. 1 Williams to go. Alex Albon, he'll be next to cross the line after Gabriel Bortoleto, who stays in the bottom 5. Albon crosses the line, goes 5th fastest. Wow, what a lap from Alex Albon. That then pushes both Mercedes into that bottom 5.
Mercedes, as long as they don't go wide in the last corner, are about to recover this.
And that looked pretty neat there from Kimi Antonelli as he crosses the line to go 4th fastest, and that pushes Ollie Bearman out of the top 10. Now, can Fernando Alonso stay in the top 10, or will it be George Russell? Russell crosses the line, goes 2nd fastest. Decent lap from George Russell. Alonso will have to settle for 11th on the grid. The 2 McLaren drivers nip and tuck all the way through this lap here, and it's going right down to the line as Piastri gets a very nice exit out of that final corner, opens up the DRS, crosses the line with a 1:30.9. Now, is that enough to bag provisional pole here? Norris crosses the line. It is, you know.
Under pressure there, isn't he? He's at risk of losing more places on the grid. He's a full 4/10, nearly 5/10 slower than his teammate. There's Antonelli wrestling his Mercedes.
Yep, he got a bit of a swapper on, did Kimi Antonelli, and that's cost him a heap of time. That last sector, you asked the question, Martin, has he been too hard on his tyres? The answer, no.
Clearly not. He was flying in the last sector.
And what happened to Lando Norris? This is making his way onto the back straight. Not just that mistake that loses your time, but you lose time all the way down the straight. Neither of the 2 McLarens getting anywhere near to Lewis Hamilton's middle sector, so he is keeping them very honest indeed. He was on the front row last year, if you remember, for the sprint in Shanghai. Hamilton crosses the line now and goes fastest. He's 0.08 of a second clear of Oscar Piastri. Hamilton with 6 Grand Prix poles here has now got a provisional sprint pole as well, as Charles Leclerc, 0.2 down, comes home for 3rd. And we turn now to Oscar Piastri, who crosses the line now and doesn't improve his position, even though it was a fabulous final sector, and Lando Norris pits for McLaren. Max Verstappen, the man who's taken pole in half of the 18 sprints that we've had in Formula 1, comes to the line now and goes 2nd fastest by 18/1,000ths of a second. He's ahead of Piastri. He is behind Hamilton, and they're celebrating at Ferrari for what is Lewis Hamilton's first ever pole position at his new team on the track that he's dominated qualifying and victories over the years. It's Hamilton on pole, and we've said that again and again and again here in Shanghai.
Where are we?
Verstappen on the front row.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Good job, San Diego. San Diego.
Mega job. Woo!